was the next day, brothers, and I had truly done my best morning and afternoon to play it their way and sit like a horror show cooperative malchick in the chair of torture.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. You know I'm the hottest, you ain't never got it.
I see that it's wrong! It's wrong because it's like...
Bring me the scalp and or weave of Snow White! Sure! I will show you a world of death! Look, everyone! I brought my thingamabob! My weapons-grade thingamabob! Oh, you just don't know what words are! That's your thing! Run away! Run away!
Bend over and grab your ankles.
I was watching Nathan fall out of his chair laughing because he didn't know about those deep fakes.
Those were fantastic.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Amazon has competition, folks.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to welcome some special guests tonight. We have Hollywood scholar Max Von Priestley reached out to me about an hour before the show and said he's got too much going on with school. He's in grad school right now, and they're covering ESG scores tonight. So he wanted to be as in-depth as possible with that and then come back to us and tell us what he had found. So that's where Max is. The one and only Jed, who I play Dungeons and Dragons with, of course, he's a great guy. He appears on numerous friends of this show, OBG70 among others, as well as does work for Geeks and Gamers. Jed, thanks for being on the show tonight.
I always love coming on here. Thanks for the invite. I've actually had the best day in my channel's history a few days ago, and I am 73 subscribers away from monetization. So I'm having to stick on top of things.
Wow!
Congratulations!
That's a big deal, dude. You have a lot of talent, Jed. You have a lot of talent, and I'm honored to get to work with you before you become big time. So yeah. No, those of you who are in chat, and I'm going to bring you in real quick, please give Hollywood Scholar a sub. Not for pity's sake, but because this is a guy who knows what he does, and he takes a lot of pride in making videos. Let's do a quick around the world. The one and only Purple Valkyrie, live from the UK. It's been a very traumatic week there. You and I talk a lot about the circumstances with the Queen and other things that are going on there. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, very, very happy to be here. Love doing the Tuesday nights, and it is so good to have Jed and Nathan with us.
I know. It's wild. It's like a weird sleepover, you know? Hello to Smile for a while. It's great to see you and have you in chat. We have my channel Taverin, Kayla Dare. So great to see you. We got Cajun Corey Rourke, another crazy Corey in the house. The one and only Nosferatu the Vampire, the individual who keeps the chat going and drops some of the most profane things I've ever seen in chat, but I don't want you to stop. I like when you talk dirty. I do. Speaking of talking dirty, we have the one and only Amanda Manethrin. Nathan is with us again on his bi-weekly release. He's on the work release program from County. How are you doing, Nathan?
That's right. I just got out of my orange skivvies, so I'm ready to go.
Wow. Hello, Jaden Hamilton, who is telling me that he just went to college, and he said all the hot girls that he's interested in have boyfriends. And I gave him this advice, and I said, what you do is wait. Just wait. And don't be the nice guy. Be the good guy. The good guy, not the nice guy. And then, my friend, you'll have the problem of too many. Hail to you. John Doe says, love Clockwork Orange. I know, right? That was an excellent deep fate, right, dude? Hardlight's with us tonight.
So awesome.
This is so awesome. It's great to see everybody here in chat. The one and only Matt, the Thad that shouldn't be, working hard, putting out videos every day. Great to see you here. If you haven't given a subscription to Unbearable 73, go check out his channel. Jaden Hamilton says, is this all CGI? That's deepfake technology. I have a very special project that is going on right now that we're not ready to announce that does include CGI in green screen. We're recording for that right now, and we will be putting those things out probably right before October. So read into that what you will. Let me just.
I'm actually all CGI, though. I'm completely CGI.
Yes.
I'm actually a little 10-year-old black girl.
Oh,
well, no.
That is.
That's
impressive.
It's very good.
I took the picture of the Lucky Charms leprechaun off the box of Lucky Charms, and I CG'd on the hat and the black T-shirt and put him there by the TARDIS, and it's amazing, right? He looks
very good.
Yeah, it's the audio processing to get him to say more than "Hey, you're always after me, Lucky Charms. Always after me, Lucky Charms."
I don't know if I can even say that.
That Irish accent was better than the freaking Harfoots on Amazon.
You're not wrong.
Can we just say that?
Yeah.
Hail Thunder Sensei. And no, I have not dropped the ball on your Tolkien interviews. I've made a decision that I'm going to start releasing them. So the Fire of Phantom is not really going to end. We're just going to continue to have people roll up, and we're going to start talking about Tolkien in different ways. But I am going to be dropping your video, Thunder Sensei, probably later this week, and we're going to shift gears with Tolkien a little bit, but we're also going to be looking at other fandoms. Hello to Ruvel Arvida. Fantastic to see you, another one of my channel members. We also have Tatsu-sama is in the house. Hail to you. I believe you're in Switzerland, if memory serves right. The one and only Maneater. Whoa, here she comes. Dr. Rachel Lindbergh is in the house. Hail to you. It's great to see you. And, oh, wow, we got a super chat right out of the gate for $4.99 from the one and only Thunder Sensei, who does a great cosplay. I'm just going to say that, and I've seen it. She says, and this is to you, Purple, I'm so sorry your new king left his golden princess to marry his horse.
Wow.
And
That's
the American backs out of this one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got problems with the royal family. God bless them, because they're going to need it. Yes, you're absolutely right, Thunder Sensei. We have got a new king. How long that he will be king, we do not know. But yeah, it's a very difficult time at the moment in the UK. Nobody quite knows what the heck is going on.
Two interesting things about King Charles. He'll be 73 years old when he's crowned king. 73 years old. The second thing about King Charles, that's going to take a while, is that he has repeatedly said that humanity is a virus upon the a plague upon the earth, and we all deserve to be eradicated. So you got that to look forward to, which isn't very nice if we're honest about it.
That makes Megan sound like a better option.
No.
Ooh.
No.
I knew that might get a reaction.
Don't even joke about that, dude. I'll tell you what, if you guys take her, you take Harry, you take back Seth Rogen, you can take Seth Rogen, you can take Whoopi Goldberg, you can take you can take what the hell is her name? The moron who put the crocheted face mask over her face. What the hell is her name?
Is it Alyssa Milano?
Oh, Alyssa, you can take Alyssa Milano.
Yeah,
you can take all them.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
No,
let's keep
going.
Ezra Miller. He's funny. He's funny. Let's keep Ezra Miller. Yeah, he's totally great with kids. right?
Very.
Great with kids.
That's right. I'm looking forward to finding a daycare nearby.
Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna back away from that. Did you guys see how many Disney employees got arrested this week? More Disney employees got arrested this week, like a lot, and it's for exactly what you think, not jaywalking. Or passing bad checks, would just say that. At some point, we're going to talk about why the hell we're here, but the chat is entertaining us. So I've got another super chat before we get going. This one from Hardlight for 10 British pounds. Hail to you, sir. Says, yes, saw the Irish Times piece on the Rings of Power response to the tokenization. And I have to say that I'm not that offended. If you've been around those from Groton, you'd believe they're from medieval times. Purple Valkyrie, you have some Irish blood flowing in your veins.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Hardlight. I think he insinuated that perhaps a little bit backwards. The skies are strange.
The skies are strange.
It's an attempt was made.
Skies are strange. No, that wasn't an attempt. We will get into it later in the show. But so check it out. Remember Forbes magazine? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Forbes magazine was talking about how toxic online culture was and how we're all racists for not liking the Rings of Power. Well, an article came out today and they're saying the Rings of Power has a Galadriel unlikability problem. But we were all racist 2 weeks ago. Bitches, I can't believe this stuff. Yes, Dr. Rachel Lindbergh. Whoa, here she comes. You weren't supposed to tell anybody. Dude, you can see it come a mile away. You can see a heartbreaker, love taker. That's Dr. Rachel Lindbergh. Speaking of another heartbreaker, we have Thunder Sensei 150 who rocks the original Star Wars movie Princess Leia outfit like nobody I've ever seen, including the cinnamon bun braids. For $9.99 says also if they truly want to go for mermaids of color, here we go, guys. We're going here. They should go to the ancient Greek legend and actually put them in rainbow colors, as their mother was a rainbow fish and their father was Eros. Eros, of course, being the god of love.
God of love.
The problem I have with, if you're the god of love, why are you banging mackerel? Why do you need to bang mackerel if you're the god of love?
It's got a lot of love to spread around.
That's right.
So what you're saying is Eros essentially produces a lot of tartar sauce, which she wants to put all over the fish.
Well, it could be accidental because that's very similar to how Aphrodite got conceived.
Wait a minute. Are you saying there's premature tartar saucification with the god of love?
And just some of it ends up in the ocean and stuff happens.
You know what else ends up in the ocean? Shit like this. Look at this, you guys. I am at an absolute loss as to what I'm looking at. Purple Valkyrie, you have mentioned this before we talked about it live, but you said you're looking at some scars, and if you look right here between her eyes, you will notice something that I have no explanation for. Purple, take it away for a moment.
Yes, this is obviously, young ladies, is our new Ariel for the upcoming live action, in quotations, Disney Little Mermaid. Yeah, she has these scars above her eyes. I believe it's cosmetic surgery, but this is the most unflattering angle that they could have given her. It's terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. And the whole trailer, I watched it through, and it's incredibly dark. You know, you think of the animated, and it's bright, it's beautiful, it's well lit, and this is just really dark and dingy, and yeah, I hated it, but I have no explanation for what's going on with her eyes or her eyebrows.
Jed, you and I haven't talked about this before. In brief, what are you seeing? I know we have the updated downvotes, I believe now, on this video. With 12 million views worldwide, it is 1.6 million downvotes to
That's incredible.
546,000 upvotes. Now, what's fascinating about that is Nathan, Amanda Manethrin, Purple Valkyrie, myself, did 2 shows where we looked at all of the aggregate views for the Rings of Power throughout the entire world for the last trailer that dropped. And Nathan, do you remember how many upvotes there were in the entire world, like roundabout versus downvotes? It was nowhere even near this.
No,
You know?
no, not even close. Yeah, it was well, around the world it might have crept close to that amount of upvotes, maybe a little bit more. No. It was no, because I think it was like 60,000 because it was
It was
600,000 down.
68,000 upvotes in the entire world for the last
That's right.
Rings of Power trailer. That's a true story. Now look at the rage here. You know, not everybody is going to love Tolkien. Those of us who love Tolkien love him pretty passionately, but there's a lot of people where you go screwing around with Disney princesses and Disney stuff from the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, 50s and keep doing this shit. They're going to lose their damn minds.
And this film was incredibly important because this was the film that really saved Disney as a company. It kicked off the animated renaissance that they had. This came out in '89, I believe, and up until then, Disney were really foundering as a animated studio. They weren't making any money with the films. There was a lot of competition, especially from Don Bluth. He was very up and coming, and that was their kind of head-to-head. But this and then subsequent films after really kind of cemented Disney as the go-to for animation, at least Western animation.
And this has been building for a long time with a lot of the other Disney remakes that have been coming. They might make a lot of money, but they have not been universally accepted. And Pinocchio was just such a dumpster fire. And then the Tolkien stuff showed people what to do and how to fight back. And so Rings of Power taught them what they needed to do. And now they've just finally snapped when it came to the Disney remakes. So it's just kind of like a perfect alignment of all things for this to happen. And I'm shocked that it did, but once you think about it, it does make sense how it all kind of converged on this specific remake.
I think there's only so many times you can drive down the same street and hurl a bag of flaming dog shit at somebody's house. And we've gotten that flaming bag of entertainment dog shit thrown at us almost every movie for the last 5 years. And people are over it. They're over it. Sorry, Purple, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you think that this film is going to be released in cinema, or do you think it's going to be a direct to streaming the same way that Pinocchio was? Because I didn't even know that Pinocchio was out.
I wonder why. I wonder why that one was kept under wraps, guys. Seriously.
Will that be released in Egypt and Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. Nathan, you're getting a little distortion. I'm not sure what that's about. But yeah, I honestly, that's funny you should mention that. But let's go ahead. And I know it's hard to take our eyes off this incredible work. Peak Disney. There's really no other way to put it. But it's funny you should mention that because this article came up this morning. This is going to shock everyone. But Disney is at it again. Virtue signaling here in the United States, attacking governors of Florida, Texas, other places like that for wanting to protect children from people who really don't have their best interests at heart. But the minute that the audiences in China and the Middle East don't like something, they bend over, drop the pants, and spread their cheeks and say, yes, by all means, have your way with us. So Netflix and Disney both have been pressured by Egypt to conform to that country's, air quotes, social values. Egypt is demanding that major streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus remove content that goes against their social values. Now, of course, we all know what those social values are based in over there in Egypt. But regulatory and licensing rules for digital platforms will be put in place that include their commitment to respect the norms and social values of the state. That was said for Egypt. I can guarantee you that's also occurring in many other countries. This announcement also came after Saudi Arabia. Are you seeing a pattern here? Said they would take legal action against Netflix if the streaming service did not remove content that, quote, contradicts Islamic and societal values. Now, neither one of the statements provided a specific example, but Saudi Arabia noted movies and television shows with, say it with me at home, kids, LGBTQ plus QIA characters.
It's impressive you said the whole thing.
Yes. I'm sure that by the time you got to the end of the sentence, they'd added more letters, though.
Yeah, well...
semi-bisexual is on there now, too, so you got to throw an S in there.
If you're having sex with a long haul freight truck, I'm not taking you seriously. That's all I'm gonna say. You can't
No,
have
it's even dumber
you-
than that.
Tell me
Semi-bisexual
more.
is you're bisexual but only attracted to one sex. So it's straight with extra steps.
Yes, just like what?
Is that like when you go to college and then you realize after you get out that being straight's the way to go, and so you're only semi-bisexual that way? Is that what that's talking about?
No, you're literally just straight. You just want to feel special as be part of the community.
That's a
The
lot of
alphabet
mental
community.
gymnastics.
If they'll take anybody in the grouping.
Even the
You know what
people they hate.
You know what we used to do in the 90s to develop an identity? We had hobbies. We joined
Yep.
team sports, competitive team sports like softball leagues, kickball leagues, baseball, tag football, basketball pickup games, volleyball. We used to go to bars, hang out, watch sports, play poker. We didn't sit around
D&D?
changing pronouns and making up different names for sticking junk and other junk or having junk stuck on us or whatever you do and chopping off junk and sewing on other junk and all this other shit. We did things. We did things. We weren't looking externally to give ourselves meaning or value. We created that value as individuals through our actions, which required effort and commitment. This is just lazy mental illness to me, but I'm not a nice person, so what do I know?
And
Yeah.
Jaden asks a really good question. Why is my generation obsessed with labels? I can't answer it, to be honest. I think Salty kind of hit the nail on the head with wanting
it's
to
lazy.
feel special in some way.
Yeah. The secret to life is not to be found in this. It's not. Secret to life is to be found out there. Pick up a hammer, get some nails, build a goddamn birdhouse.
But there's porn on there.
That's what you do.
Isn't that the answer to life?
Well, every now and again, yeah, that's fine. My point, Jed, is that you should maybe do something else. One of the first things that they teach people in a recovery program, and I'm not in a recovery program, I spent a lot of time around them, helping other people. I have been to Al-Anon meetings, which I highly recommend everyone go and experience. But the first thing they teach someone who's an addict is to not make it about themselves, to not be in their head, and to go out and start doing things for other people. And what I'm seeing is, like you said, Jaden, is an entire generation which has been maladapted and mal-created and mal-educated to be entirely here and about this. And just here and not like, oh, I'll hold the door open for this nice old lady, or hey, maybe I'll go pick up trash, or I'll go work at the Humane Society, or maybe instead of raging on social media about the injustices done to women, go down to the women's shelter and actually do something and get your hands dirty. The problem with all that is that it actually requires, number one, you have to leave the house. Number two, you have to interact with people. And number three, you actually have to effing do something. There's nothing more gratifying than actually effing doing something. But if you sit on this goddamn thing all day, it's never enough. There's no amount of views, no amount of thumbs up, no amount of subscribers, no amount of whatever that is ever going to give your life meaning or value. Only you can do that. And it's the one thing that these entertainment companies seem to have stripped out of their entertainment is that hero's journey. Where F what everybody else thinks. Do what you know is right. All right, I'm going to stop preaching. It's not Sunday. It's Tuesday. Let's get off this goddamn article. Everybody's really shocked. Disney is hypocritical. I know.
Just swinging back to that article, and it was a fascinating read. And I'm just wondering now that we do have this new Little Mermaid, how is that going to be marketed around the world? Because I can't imagine there's certain places that it's going to be very popular.
I think Wakanda's going to love it. I think they'll love it in Wakanda. It's going to be a hit.
Can you imagine the Chinese movie posters?
I have seen people do things on Twitter already. Just going to say that.
Those are gold. Very well done.
Yep.
I don't know, Jed, what do you think about that? Purple's raising a good point on that.
On what they're going to do with the Little Mermaid worldwide?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're absolutely going to do the same thing. Disney is more than happy to adhere to other people's personal lifestyle choices when it's in places where it's not acceptable to do otherwise. They're not willing to do that here. And I've always been of the opinion that anyone can consume media however they want. If you want to edit it somewhere, go for it. If in some places violence isn't as acceptable as it here, edit the movie in your own home. Like a VidAngel was a big deal. So I don't care how people consume media in their own homes or whatever, but it's just entirely hypocritical for Disney to give in to all these foreign countries when they're going to bash us and bash anyone in the United States who even questions the decisions that they make while bending over backwards for foreign money. And that's where my criticism lies. It's not in the fact that they do it overseas, it's that it's a double standard versus here. And yeah, they're 100% going to change some things about the Little Mermaid, I can definitely see, but at a certain point, since she's the main character, they can't cut her out of the movie. Or maybe they'll do that AI thing in China to make the whole movie look like that. That would be interesting. It'll be like the black market. Can we get the China cut?
I just think perhaps that it's not going to get released. But I do think that this is going to be another direct-to-streaming film that Disney have done. It seems to be the way they're going with their live-action films.
And it's another production where less time seemed to go into the actual story structure as long as it checks those ESG score boxes, and more time and effort has gone into the coordinating marketing plan, which just involves calling every single person racist, misogynist, all of that bullshit that doesn't work anymore, but they're still doing it. So yeah, good luck with that one. 1.6 million downvotes worldwide to 545,000 upvotes. And that's of the people who even gave a shit enough. Imagine how many people walked away without even saying a damn thing.
I didn't.
Yeah. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $2. Hail to you, brother. It's great to see you. Psycho Dwarf 9 says, and I learned that to shoot black powder. I have shot black powder. It hurts, dude.
It really does.
A lot.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
It's not the ideal. It's not the ideal way to hunt turkeys. I will say that, especially when you don't have the stock set against your shoulder and you kind of catch it in the face. You don't want to do that.
I've heard
that
it's
happened to me.
Quite a kick. Yeah.
I get no kick from champagne. All right, you're working that shit. You know what I was watching last night was from 1965. It was the Frank Sinatra show with Dean Martin and a young Sammy Davis Jr. opening up. And this is again 1965. It was black and white. A young Johnny Carson opened up and was the MC of the show. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because Sammy Davis Jr. took a moment to talk about he had never been allowed to play in a major theater in St. Louis because of segregation. This was 1965. But that he had traveled around in vaudeville acts for forever with his parents. Well, there he was. And Frank Sinatra back in the day was a very good friend of Sammy Davis Jr. Now, those of you who may not know, not that it matters, but Sammy Davis Jr. was an African-American who converted to Judaism and was married to a Caucasian woman. These things have all been happening for quite a while. In sub-segments of us, all of this progress, we've been making progress. What they're doing with this forced changing and forced race swapping, sexuality swapping, I think it's the same reason Jaden was talking about with why are people so obsessed about labels? I don't know. All for me that I see in our entertainment is they're so obsessed with the labels, they don't give a shit about what's under the label. Because it's just empty. It's literally just a candy bar wrapper around dog shit, communism, totalitarianism, brainwashing, celebration of victims.
Yeah. Well, but that's a great thing that you bring up Sammy Davis Jr. about that, because he was golfing one day and someone asked him if he's ever felt like he's been oppressed or something like that. And he turned and he looked at the guy and he said, "Are you kidding me? Look at me. I'm a black Jew. What do you think?" And then walked on and went on with his game. But he didn't make it himself. He didn't make it all about him. He just went on about his day and said it as a humorous thing. And that's the kind of mentality that we used to have. I had this all my friends that I had that were black in my middle school and high school years were like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm just going to go and do what I want to do.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans, Native Americans, black, white. And that's the thing about white, is white meant a lot of different things back when we were all just white. You know, there were the Germans, the Irish, the Poles, the French, you know, then you had a variety of Asians. We had Chinese kids, we had Laotian kids. Because where I lived was after the Vietnam War, they took a bunch of the people that fought on the side of the Americans and jumped them into the upper Midwest. These people literally came from the jungle in villages that had no idea about running water, electricity, and that stuff. And yet they came into our schools not knowing how to speak English, and we started playing kickball with them, and we started running track and field with them. And yeah, there were some morons that said some stuff about it, but they were cool kids. And again, a lot of these morons today that are creating all of these straw men weren't even alive when a lot of us was already doing what they said we should have been doing. The only ones not doing it are the idiots alive right now, or the ones pushing this message, because we're way past this. We are way past this. And if you're not way past this, you're making a buck off of it somehow. I really believe that. It started with a certain community organizer who was made president of the United States and now has a oceanfront condo on Martha's Vineyard. Funny how that works. All right, let's go ahead and slip into this.
I love this article. I did a video on it a while back. It's great.
You too. Well, you take the lead on this. Earn your keep there, Hollywood Scholar. We'll move you up to the #1 position.
All right.
Let's see what you can do. Let's do it.
This is my show now. All right.
No, so it's not. Just take the article, Dick. I'll jack your ass out of here. Go ahead.
All right. As we know, the mainstream and access medias are full in this whole narrative of anti the fan, anti everyone who doesn't fit the narrative, calling everyone Tolkien fans racist, misogynist, sexist, as usual. And Forbes joined in that just as much as everyone else, having several articles along that train of thought and that narrative. But for some reason, they got one little partially truthful one out there that slipped through. I mean, it does slip back into the narrative at the end of it just to call all the fans the names to keep his, access pass of being a good person badge. But it does talk about Galadriel being a major problem in the show, mainly because she's incredibly dislikable and she has no emotional range, various shades of scowl. I quite like that line there because that's very much how she comes across. It's not like a Tessa Thompson type who's just, that's all she's got. It's literally just so many different thumbnails have been made about all the different scowls that Galadriel makes. And it's just hilarious to see, and especially someone like Forbes pointing it out. But I think my personal favorite part of this article is in the next paragraph where he gets the definition of Mary Sue wrong a little bit, but he does say that she isn't a Mary Sue because she's too dislikable to be a Mary Sue. Now, of course, that isn't a component of Mary Sue, but I love how someone like him is saying she's too dislikable. What does that even mean? What does that look like if you're too dislikable to be Mary Sue? I just really like that he came out and called her out on that. And yeah, a lot of this does go into Mary Sue by the definition a little bit here. He does say apparently he disagrees with the concept of it and he has a video on it. I didn't check out the video, but at least that part of being too dislikable was something that was very interesting to me. And yeah, then it goes into a little bit of the background stuff with where she came from. And it's actually changed a little bit. That paragraph is different than it was initially.
Yep. That's why I brought this one up, because I saw this one before, but you can tell maybe somebody in Amazon didn't like how direct they were being, and it's changed, and you can tell it's written by a 14-year-old instead of someone who's lucid.
Absolutely. That paragraph right underneath the photo was actually very anti her, but now it's just, she's an old elf. So that was the big one. That was the one that I centered my whole video around, and I'm looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, she's 10,000 years old. Okay, what happened to the vitriol that was in there before?
Yep, and I'm glad you saw that, because we see this over and over and over again. We saw this with Wheel of Time. We saw this with Star Wars, where somebody picks up a phone and says, if you want advertising dollars, you are going to not crush our nuts on a vice on this article the way that you are. And they rewrote it. And you can tell whoever rewrote this article was not the same author based upon the sentence structure, and the content of what they're saying. It's crazy. The narrative must be controlled. I don't think Amazon's realized this, but this show has crashed and burned. It's not coming back. I'm not even mad at this show anymore because it is so very clearly, undeniably, objectively, number one, not Tolkien, and number two, one of the worst wastes of money that has ever occurred in entertainment history. Purple Valkyrie, what do you think of that statement? Are you waiting to buy the merch? Can you not wait for seasons 2 through 5? Where are you at with the Rings of Power?
I've been practicing my Galadriel scowl in the mirror. That's how impressed with her I am. Yeah, they're pretty much reiterating what the fans have been saying since we saw these trailers, really, and we saw the look on Morfydd Clark's face. It gets worse throughout the show. She does smile in one of the episodes, but I think a lot of you who have seen that episode will agree. Kind of wish she hadn't. It's not good.
Creepy. Very,
It's
very creepy.
But that is how she is written. She's a girl boss character. What did they think was going to happen? This isn't the Galadriel that we know from the books. This isn't the the beautiful, capable, strong elf female that we know.
Purple Valkyrie, when this show started, you and I, for the last 8 months now, since we've been working together with Kyle, Max, Nathan, Gray, other people, Nerdporial, what is it that you thought? What was your worst fear about this show? And did it come true, or did something else happen with the Rings of Power for you?
Honestly, my worst fear was pretty much what we got, that they weren't going to respect the lore. We know they didn't have much to work with, but they still could have paid respect to Tolkien and the world that he created. Now, had this been just a generic fantasy, people would not be as irate, I guess, as what they have been. I think they vastly underestimated how Tolkien fans felt about Middle-earth and what they've done to it. But honestly, it's as you say, it's not hate that people are feeling now, it's apathy, because it's just not a very good show. And you're left wondering, where did the budget go? Because anyone who's seen that terrible CGI chihuahua in the in one of the episodes, it's like, what?
I know.
What am I looking at?
Why? Oh, again, as those of us who lived through the Wheel of Time, this all makes odd sense. It's just horrifying that it, instead of $80 million like they did the first season of Wheel of Time, it was $1 billion. And yes, that has been updated for the cost that they revealed. $1 billion for what we got with the Rings of Power. And it's funny because if you watch the credits, only the first 2 episodes were 50% Tolkien. Every other episode since the last one last week has 0 Tolkien accreditation in the writing credits. Wayne Chi Yip is directing the next 3 episodes. He directed episode 3. Wayne Chi Yip, Jodie Whittaker, Doctor Who director, and director of 2 episodes of Wheel of Time season 1. That's who got half of the season. Half of $1 billion first season went to that individual. Now the show ends, directed with Charlotte Brandstrom. You may know that name. She's from French television, done some great work. She also has done some, basic bitch American work like, ER and stuff. But she did 2 episodes in the first season of The Witcher. Now she's got chops, What she can do with a shit script, I don't know. And unlikable characters, I don't know. But maybe it'll look better than the crap we're getting from Wayne Yip. Let me get to this. I want to call out Ian Soforth. Ian has been a longtime supporter of this channel, a consistent supporter of this channel. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. Let me tell you how YouTube's working for me. I had a live stream that's at 700 views. And I go to my view count in my analytics, and it says that I have 16 views. And I'm only getting credited with 16 views. This shit's been going on for 2 months. Whatever YouTube did with the algorithm, however this is all working, and we saw it with the Rings of Power, we saw it with the downvoting, they're probably doing it for Disney. Whatever the hell is going on, it's affecting all of us, not just me at like 2,500 subscribers. There are many other large YouTubers it's affecting as well. I'm just saying a narrative is being destroyed or driven for some reason What that is, God only knows. Let me shout out Ian Soforth, a member for 2 months. He gifted 5 Salty Texas Sea memberships. What that means is if you're not a member of my channel, just accept the gift from Ian Soforth. There's no money. There's no obligation. It's nothing. You just get to hang out. You get the member icon. You can use my emojis. Come and hang out. We're cool people. Thank you very much, Ian Soforth. And if at the end of the month you want to become a member, you can. Like, no harm, no foul. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5 says, ladies and gentlemen, I feel your pain. I'm a blood descendant to John Brown, and we have a bit of a color blind tradition. Yeah, there were people born before 1995, 1990. And not just us. I was born in 70. There's like countless generations of people, and believe it or not, we all generally tolerated one another. What was generally in our way was corrupt liberal governments, but they exploited us even back through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and sure as shit now. But yeah, labels. Thank you so much, Ian. What about you, Nathan? Did I get to you on that? Where's Rings of Power briefly? How has this met what you were afraid of for the Rings of Power season 1? Is it as bad? Is it worse in a different way? What is it?
I would probably say it's worse in a different way, just because we knew it was going to break the lore. We didn't really know how severe it was going to depart from the lore, but it did so in a way that is so unintentionally comical when they're trying to produce something serious. I mean, when we paused the Galadriel horse scene for a good 15-20 minutes laughing.
I can pull it up again.
No,
but yeah, go ahead and talk.
No. I mean,
chat,
it was
vote. Chat, put an F in chat if you want to see Galadriel on the horse going. Ooh. Yeah.
Or I can share the meme, whichever you want.
Yeah. No. Share the meme. Meme.
Yeah, let me pull that out. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Oh God, you don't want that, ladies. No,
ladies.
Once you go Manethrin, you never go back. That's what I've heard anyway. So
look at all these F's in chat. Look at that.
Wow,
masochistic people.
Wow.
Right?
Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh my God, we have to do that. You guys. Oh my God. Look at all these F's. You guys are gluttons. All right, you ready? Chat, we're going to bounce you out real quick. Remember, Nathan, could you zoom in just a couple times? Can you just hit the control?
Let me see if I can.
Plus. There you go. Perfect. This is a work of art. The one and only Galadriel. Oh, no, wait. That's Nerdporeal. That's
Beautiful.
the same look, though. Yeah.
Yep.
He might be enjoying it a little bit more than her.
Yeah.
Even the horse looks bored to be there, though.
And Brian is in the chat, so thank you, Brian, again for being such a good sport about it. It was a blast.
Yeah. That's great. So good.
Yeah. Nerdporeal does a live watch with us on Thursday nights, and he is a very kind, generous reviewer, and I don't mean that in a disingenuous way, but he really is much more patient with things than I am. And again, not in a negative way. We're all allowed to have different opinions. But Nerdporeal, literally, I've never seen him get that upset about anything ever, as he did at this show, where he's just like screaming, WTF, what are you doing? Why is this happening? Why is she on this horse like this? Why? And all we could just do is come to this place of utter shock and disbelief that something this bad, it's that bad, would get made, and they would take it so seriously.
Right, and this was not the only scene that we started laughing our tails off on Thursday night. I believe the Sonic the Hedgehog warg also did that to us, and then everything else. The cudgel of slavery on episode 3 was just what was Odin's hammer all over the place. So I mean, it's been one thing after another with the show that has been. I think apathy was a great way to describe that, Purple, because we just don't care. We've already gone through our pissed off stage. Now we're just kind of like, we'll watch it to say how bad everything is, but that's it.
It does seem to be that way, and I can see that you guys watching The View are having fun, making fun of it. But I know, on the other hand, you guys would be much preferring to be saying how incredible this story is, how amazing these characters are, how true to the lore it is. I think
We were
that
never
would be
going to
so
get
much
that.
better. No,
We
but
were never going to get
wishful
that.
thinking. In an
I know.
alternate universe, maybe it happened.
No, I mean, we all wanted that. And what was that asshole John Campea going on about? God, I was watching that. It was on Zaxx last Thursday stream, and he's talking about all people wanted was to hate something. That's all they wanted. They wanted it to fail. It's like, no, we didn't want it to fail. We were pretty sure it was going to, given the messaging. We were pretty sure it's going to what you said in Vanity Fair. We were pretty sure because of what you did in the marketing and the fact that we saw this flaming dumpster fire full of dead, rancid skunks coming at us, fully engaged with 8-foot flames coming out of it. We could smell it. We could taste it. We could hear it. For us to go, yeah, that's a flaming dumpster fire full of rancid skunks. Does not make us racist. Now here we are. Look at the numbers. Look at what's going on at Amazon. It's getting old. It's getting real old. This is a $5 super chat from the one and only Roman of the Empire. Says, good evening, groovy folk. I'm lurking and working. Rings of Power should be the name that is never mentioned. She-Hulk is in the same boat, yet here we are. Well, Roman, did you see the deepfakes at the beginning of this episode, or what I put on Twitter for a tweet? Deepfake before the show. I combined the twerking of She-Hulk with the characters of the Rings of Power, because if you're going to fail has spectacularly as $1 billion not Tolkien adaptation. Let's just say that.
Yeah. The other thing that I'd like to say too is that despite in addition to not wanting the show to fail, I'll take exception to that. When we know that they're going to break the lore this bad, I do want it to fail. I don't want it to fail for the sake of how wonderful a story can be if it's faithful to what Tolkien wrote. But if it's not going to be, I want it to burn in the fiery pits of hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with that sentiment. Yeah, we definitely didn't. We want a good show. I think that's just something that we're all nerds. We all fell in love with nerdy stuff over the past few decades, and there's nothing better than having something good to dig our teeth into and love and marathon. Like when I first watched all the Star Trek shows, I watched all of them up to 2005, of course, in just a couple weeks. The first time I did it, I tore through those, and it was such a great experience. We want to love these things, and when these crazy stands come after us, it's incredibly easy to just point and laugh at them, especially when they're as bad as that one guy who he saw that the Rings of Power is supposed to be 50 hours long, right? So we thought that was all for season 1. So we thought the next 6 episodes were going to be 8 hours long, and he was like.
Math is hard.
Oh, he was just like, he was tweeting out there. He's like, I think it's so weird that they just started with 2 1-hour episodes instead of trying to spread out their 50 hours as evenly as possible across all 8 episodes.
Really?
Have you ever seen an 8-hour episode of television before, mate?
That would have been walking across New Zealand in real time.
I feel so bad for my generation. This dude's my age, and he's that thick.
Yeah. I mean, Stranger Things season 4 had some long episodes, but they were still deficient 6.5 hours than that. I don't know what to tell you, Jed. You're one of the cool ones, so please, Gen X, you guys outnumber us. Like, can you hold back the onslaught of them for a little while, please? We'd really appreciate it. Look at this, a super chat from Lyle Hammock, a long-time supporter of this channel, a long active member of chat, very active on our Twitter group on social media. Hail to you, Lyle. Lyle and I have not agreed on the Rings of Power since I think like January. We've had respectful disagreements. For $5, Lyle says, how dare you mock Rings of Power? I'm enjoying, and you are nothing but toxic haters, and you hate me too. Well, that's probably what they think. I'm just kidding. Let's see. That was my social justice warrior moron imitation. Smiley face, smiley flying face, cat face. Yeah, I know that, Lyle. It's nuts. The show is nuts. The show is off the rails. I mean, I don't. It's like they splooged all over everything with the early racist stuff. None of it worked. We had Princess Diza talking about my race and the fact I'm an African American. I'm a British. I don't know what the hell you call it. She's black and from the UK and she's a mom and she's blah 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 me. Shit didn't work. How many minutes has she been on screen in the 3 episodes? How many? Like
5?
10?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I have a problem with that because I don't, but we know she's going to be doing more. I did a video going back to March where I said Princess Diza is going to sing in the caverns. I then compared the singing that we got from Tolkien with what we were likely to get. And I believe, Nathan, you made the joke that it was going to be probably dwarven gospel music in Khazad-dûm. Now, I am pretty sure in the next episode, we're going to have to go back to Khazad-dûm. We can't spend all this time with this lovely, charismatic, captivating Gladriel, who apparently isn't married and doesn't have daughters, and apparently, whatever. But yeah, thank you for the $5, Lyle. What were you going to say, Nathan? Go ahead.
And how sad is it that I actually want to go back to Khazad-dûm because the acting that Disa actually did was actually the most believable bit of acting we've seen the whole show.
Still don't like her writing, but otherwise I'd agree. She is the most competent actor.
So I have shared this before, but it's been about 6 months. This is something that I put together. I cleaned up the audio off of old vinyl, ran it through audio processing, and then proceeded to put a cool thumbnail on it. This is what the singing of Tolkien is supposed to be. And not why? Not because Corey says so, because it's Tolkien himself singing Tolkien's own songs. Here you go.
The glasses and crack the plates, blunt the knives and bend the forks. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. Smash the bottles and burn the corks.
I love that. I absolutely love that.
You know, one thing that's lacking in diversity and representation. Do you know why? Because it's a flippin' mythology for England. You know how many articles I've been seeing with these scholars calling out of the woodwork, talking about how Tolkien wasn't a Christian? The mythology of Tolkien isn't Christian. The values are not Christian. That Tolkien really didn't write this as a mythology for Middle-earth, even though his letters specifically say that. It gets a little exhausting, doesn't it? But again, Rings of Power has never been about Tolkien. Not the Rings of Power. I need a bitch slap for that. The Rings of Power has never been about Tolkien. And wow, I am gobsmacked. I am indeed gobsmacked. I need to pull up that full message for that one. Purple Valkyrie. I'm going to go into chat. Go ahead and pull that up, please, again. This is Lyle Hammock. I'll put it on screen.
Okay.
$100 super chat. Thank you. I don't know what else to say, but thank you, Lyle. You and I, we have been going around and around on this respectfully for a long time. If you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. I don't hate this show. I just don't think about this show. I have to watch this show live, and I wish that I felt the enthusiasm that you did. I really do, but I don't. Then again, you might not like Stranger Things, or you might not like House of the Dragon. As a matter of fact, I've heard you disparaging House of the Dragon, dude. But this is a $100 super chat from the one and only Lyle Hammock. I am honored and I am humbled. Thank you. He says, hail all in chat and on the panel. I'm currently driving to Mississippi for business, so I'm just going to lurk and listen. Here's to a great stream. And hail also Salty. I think Rings of Power is the only disagreement we have had, unless you are, and I've got to pop this out to read it, unless you are a secret supporter of the deep state. Oh, I see what you did there. Well, my house hasn't been raided by the FBI yet, even though I might have supported someone who's orange, and but I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that. So no, Lyle, I think you're in very safe hands with assuming that. Lyle, thank you. I just want to say thank you. It means a lot. So a $100 super chat. I don't do this very often, but I'm going to give you one of the old school channel super chat videos we used to do all the time. This is a palate cleanser. I'm talking about the Rings of Power and the Little Mermaid and Buzz Lightyear and blah, blah, get it. Here you go. It's for you, Lyle, from the heart.
We travel light. That is handsome walk.
Classics never go out of style. Classics never go out of style. How long do you think the Rings of Power is going to be remembered? Do you think it's going to be up on the Peter Jackson trilogy?
I think by episode 8.
I think it might be remembered by a lot of people in like a sadistic kind of way, or like a point and laugh, like this is the worst thing ever created. I can see that.
Oh, I can see that too.
I think we'll get to season 2 of Wheel of Time and look back and think, man, this is better than Rings of Power.
Be an achievement.
Yeah, but only slightly better. Only
Right.
We had this conversation, and you did it on Prophet of the Dragons channel, which was which is worse, Wheel of Time season 1 or the Rings of Power? And honestly, they're both terrible for different reasons. And I think you can say either one is worse for different reasons. I think what's inexplicable about both of these shows in Robert Jordan's world in the Wheel of Time series, a 15-book series up there behind me. You buy the entire series to not make it about the series at all. You just take the character names, age them up, change sexuality, make them different races and ethnicities, and don't actually tell the story of what you spent a couple $100 million to buy. Well, they did that with the Wheel of Time. They did that with Robert Jordan's world, and guess what? They did it again with Tolkien. Now, they did piss away 2 episodes. Bait and switch was... You can't even call it a bait and switch. Let's be honest about it. This thing has not been Tolkien from the beginning. They're not even pretending that it's Tolkien, but now it's fully off the rails, in my opinion. So, hail to Snacks and Comics, dude. I would love to have you pop on toward the end if you wanted to. We should definitely have you on the show when we're watching the Rings of Power live or House of the Dragon the last 15 minutes, but that's a conversation for another time. Snacks and Comics does a lot of work with Snowdub, who does the Cotton Connection. I appear on that show as a human victim. Purple Valkyrie does as well. A lot of people do that. Give Snacks and Comics a subscription. He does 3 or 4 great puppets. They're all adult, R-rated humor. He does some more tamer stuff, but it's a lot of fun. And if you miss the Muppets, like if the Muppets were kind of alcoholic, it's a good creator. We need creators. We need creators on YouTube like that, not repurposers. Just going to say that. So excellent. Great to see you there, Snacks and Comics. We need creators in Hollywood.
Yeah.
We don't need repurposers in Hollywood. We need creators in our corporations, not repurposers and repackagers of ESG score-driven crap that nobody wants to watch. Yeah. So I'm going to take this article. Now, I wanted to hold off and wait until Prophet of the Dragon was here, but he's apparently not going to make it because he's trapped at work. Nathan, I know you and I have talked about Brandon Sanderson in varying degrees, sometimes flattering, sometimes in awe, sometimes you're a bitch kind of a ways. Brandon Sanderson has done some remarkable things with fan service. And in return, the fans have been literally backing up trucks full of money to give to Brandon Sanderson. Nathan, do you want to describe what happened with that online thing that he did where he had mystery books, didn't even tell you what the books were and how much money he made?
Right. It was, I think it was around 40 million on a Kickstarter. It was the largest Kickstarter that was ever done. And he just blew it out of the water. And basically that allows him to be the fantasy guy for Hollywood to grab for the next 5 years at least. And Hard Light saying 41 million.
Yep.
You know, it was just an absolute massive thing. And I think he did 4 Cosmere books in secret during the Scaredemic, and then actually is doing a whole bunch of other things with that Kickstarter. And it was just like it was like he was printing his own money right there and telling everybody, come and get me.
And Hollywood saw that. Jed, I don't want to put you on the spot. Have you read any Brandon Sanderson's?
I did as a child. I read his Arithmetist book, and that's the only one that I remember that I've ever read. So I'm not particularly versed on his works.
Yeah. And Purple, you're not the biggest fan of Brandon Sanderson's. You may check out some of his work, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yes, this is an author that obviously I've heard a lot about, but I haven't really delved into what he's done. But he just seems to be incredibly prolific, and he seems to want to take on quite a lot of other side projects as well that he didn't start to write. He's going to try and finish.
After the original author of the Wheel of Time series, Robert Jordan, died, Brandon Sanderson, and was it Nathan? I think it was 2 books. He wrote 2 books, and I believe, or was it 3 with a prequel? He finished off Robert Jordan's world using his notes.
3 books.
And in consultation with the late Robert Jordan's wife. And they're pretty good. They're not Robert Jordan. They're pretty good. Now, I think Brandon Sanderson's a pretty good writer. I don't have him in my top 10 fantasy writers, but I respect his work. Now, maybe if I went back and read him now, I would feel differently. If Prophet of the Dragon Steve was here, he'd probably yell at me, but that's true. What's fascinating about this, like they mentioned, was this guy put out something where he didn't tell you what the hell the books were. He just said, I'm putting out 5 books or whatever, and you can buy them in electronic form or whatever form. And this guy made $41 million, not even telling people what the plots were, because people wanted good fantasy. Well, he's not done. So Brandon Sanderson has a very large Hollywood deal that we don't know the details to yet. And I'm not going to make shit up. There's plenty of people who can do that. But we do know that he's going to have a pretty big deal based on one of the series of his books. Now, what I believe to be happening and why we're looking at these figures, and I talked about this with Prophet of the Dragon Steve, who did a video on this earlier today, and I suggest, again, Prophet of the Dragon, go check out his video on this because he is a rabid Brandon Sanderson fan in the best possible way. I said that I thought he was doing this for a number of reasons, but Prophet of the Dragon said, I think he's putting out the action figures with the likenesses of his characters because he wants to guarantee that when Hollywood makes his movies, they look like his characters.
Oh, now that's smart. That's a really good idea.
Think about that. Now, I don't think that is a man who would never come out and say that, but I'd say that would be someone who's very good and being very shrewd about this. And yeah, you can see the original sketches from his works. You can see that's what they did, that they wanted to take the original things from his books, make these figures. Now, these are the size of D&D figures. There are more sets of them. There's a 12-inch figure as well of a battle scene. But look, he wanted that characters. He wanted everybody to know what the hell his characters look like before Hollywood got a hold of him. Now, he has an active Kickstarter going right now. When I was talking with Steve, Prophet of the Dragon, earlier today, this thing is about 11 o'clock in the morning. It was at $650,000. $650,000. Just started this morning. The last number that I saw was $1.2 million in one day. And nobody knows about this thing yet. Nobody knows about that. It's just getting started. And here's the thing. It's affordable. Look, here we go. $1.2 million. Yeah. 6,000 backers. It's still got a month to go. And you can see the money going through the roof on this thing. Oh, shit, I'm not even showing it. I know how to stream. Hold on. You guys need to yell at me. Good God. Like old man Corey can't even take his dog for a walk. So here we go. This is again on Kickstarter. No, I'm not chilling for them, but look at this. This started today. It's even been 24 hours.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's just like,
it's amazing.
Yeah. It's like the federal deficit. Level. It's the federal deficit only in a good way. That number keeps turning over. And it's like, this is a guy who made $41 million. $41 million on his books. He got the big Hollywood deal again, which details are not out there for, but we know it's going to happen. I'd like to think maybe Brandon Sanderson is going to be all over this thing. Yeah, it funded in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys aren't wrong. So look at this though. Here's this is not a big cash grab. This stuff is not $1 million. He's pricing this. Look at this set. These figures.
Love the detail on them.
They're
It's
great.
amazing.
They're absolutely great. So, there's Brandon Sanderson. He's talking about why he's doing this. And look at this. All you need is $30 and you get 3 figures.
That's really reasonable because that's pretty much the cost of figures. If you go to D&D or any game.
Go ahead, Nathan. Go ahead, Jed.
The first tier, actually, there's been an update. That first tier is now getting a 7th figure because they already broke the $1 million mark. So I mean, it's just the detail is amazing. The product is probably what they're going to be delivering. I think I do. I've only listened to the first book.
Yeah.
I got to go back and actually read it because there's so much detail in it. But it's just, if he uses this to be able to force Hollywood to stay faithful to his IP in some sort of Hollywood production, then I'm going to say, dude, bravo on the long game. You are a fucking Chad.
Yeah, look at all these figures. It wasn't just the first 3 for $30. You get 6 figures for $30. Now, this is why I think this is Brandon Sanderson paying it forward. I think he's literally not making very much on this, or he's got one hell of a good deal with whoever does all of his printing for him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the dude already made $41 effing million. I see this and it's like, I think he's trying to give back to the fans because he could have made that basic set, $59, $79. People would have bought it. He probably would have made the same amount of money. But I wonder if somebody isn't taking a page out of 20th century marketing and creating goodwill and brand recognition and excitement organically. Now, this is the $55 set. You get all of the figures above, all of them. Look at so this is for $30. You get those 6. But if for $55, you get those 6 plus. Look at these. Look at these figures. They're freaking awesome. It's nuts. Look at that.
And Corey, we've been on Hero Forge, right?
Oh yeah.
When you sit there and create a character on Hero Forge, and if you want to order the printed thing shipped to you, the inch tall figurine, that's I think $12 or $18 or something. I mean, depending on the quality of work that you want. But when you sit there and get all these for, like you're saying, $30, like basically $5 a figure, I mean,
it's insane.
That's, even if it's 3D printed stuff, that's still really good, and it's still stuff you can paint on your own just as easily.
So for $80, you get all of those other figures, those 12 plus these 6. Look at these guys. Look at these figures. This is not trash. And all I can think of, again, look, if you give $100, you get like 20 of these damn things. All I can think of is this is somebody who who already made his money, let's be honest, between the books and what the Hollywood deal. And I think he recognizes, you know what? People want nerd stuff. And they want nerd stuff that's really good. And I think the flip side of that is this is also the way for me as the author so that the public knows what my characters look like. And so when they make these characters in a movie, they essentially have to follow the way it was written in the story. Now, maybe that's wishful thinking, but I really think that this was a part of what Brandon Sanderson did. Now, I have not always been very kind to Brandon Sanderson after some of the things that he said about Wheel of Time Season 1, but I also said that I thought back in November of last year that he went right up to the edge of calling out Amazon as much as he could. I do believe that Sanderson was under an NDA. He was an associate producer on the Wheel of Time. And yet he had a lot of criticism for it, and rightfully so with what they did. Now, he has that same criticism twice. So I, like a lot of other people said, Brandon Sanderson did what he did, played ball so that he could get his intellectual property made, and I think that's where we're at. I really do.
And therefore he does deserve the criticism for what he did with Wheel of Time. But if he's sitting there doing this with this, I don't think that necessarily justifies what he did with Wheel of Time. I understand the game that he's playing, it's horseshit, but what he's producing with his own stuff, you can sit there and still hold on its own spotlight. And I mean, look at that figure. That is just epic.
It's a foot tall. It's a foot tall, 1/10 scale. And that you can only get when you do the all-in, where you get all of the figures plus that special statue. I mean, look at all these. Look at all these figures. That's $175 for all those figures. A lot. That's a lot of cool stuff to get. Fascinating. And here's the thing. I would like to think that there are people who really love the worlds that they've created and they don't want to see them destroyed. They don't want them destroyed by woke casting, by ESG scores, by agenda. They want their story to be told the way it is written. That has been the challenging thing about what's been happening with the Rings of Power. Suddenly, a whole bunch of people with blue hair and pronouns are saying what Tolkien meant, even though what Tolkien meant was written down. He's pretty goddamn clear about it. But now they're going to reinterpret Tolkien for us. It's just insane. Where would we be? I don't know. So let me see. Go ahead.
That's incredibly impressive, and just once again proves that there is a need, there is a drive for fans to get stuff like this. Like, fans want something to enjoy, and when they do, they will pour money into it. You don't have to ask for money when you're just going to get it sent to you. And it reminds me a lot of, like the Ripperverse stuff. There is a need that isn't being filled. And it's just incredible to see something like that blow up like that, and really speaks to how bad things are, honestly. And I can't wait for the whole Twitter mob to come out after him again, like when he did his previous Kickstarter campaign, because he's taking jobs from authors of color. Apparently, he's taking money from them because he's a white dude, and it's just asinine.
That's how it works. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If a white man succeeds,
aren't black or anything.
Yeah.
Any white man who succeeds means a woman of color that's trans and non-binary with a disabled leg didn't succeed.
Where would you guys recommend I start if I wanted to read Brandon Sanderson's work? What would be a good jumping in point?
That's your cue, Prophet of the Dragon. That's who I was really twittering with, who's like, should I come on the show? And I'm like, dude, I'm live. I already gave you the link. I'm going to be twittering you live on YouTube. So, Steve, get on here. We need somebody to answer this question. For me, I'm a very casual Sanderson fan. I haven't read his books in 10, 15 years. I only read one. Nathan, where are you at with this? I mean, and I know, Jed, you sound like you're in the same place with that. I agree. That's what I read, Kayla Dare, Mistborn.
Yeah, it looks like quite a few people say that.
Yeah, I'm an interested party. I like I said, I've only listened to the first Stormlight book, Way of Kings, I think it's called. I've been very interested to get into Mistborn Era 1. Timing, available time is just basically my issue. But I'm definitely interested in at least the Mistborn and the Stormlight Archive sagas. And I think Steve mentioned to me that he would recommend, since I've already started Stormlight, to go with that first. But it's, at the very least, what you're going to get is some entertaining fantasy stories that have the hero's journey involved in them. And they're going to be very different than the ESG driven stuff that is so common.
I didn't think that was a thing anymore. Well,
I know.
I will give it a go.
So weird.
I've always, I've known of him. It's just one of those writers that I just haven't gotten around to reading, but I keep hearing great things about him.
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to be the next hot thing in Hollywood now that they've run through Tolkien, they've run through Robert Jordan. I mean, there's a lot of other fantasy authors out there. I mean, I've got David Eddings is behind me. I mean, Terry Brooks to me is still unspoiled. You can't count what they did with MTV. I think it's a fun show. I don't think it's a good show, but I think it's a fun show if you like to look at hot women elves and hot things going on there. And it's got a great soundtrack. But is it Terry Brooks' story? No, it's not. It's MTV meets fantasy. The thing is that show has a heart. It actually has a heart in hot chicks. Hot chicks.
Yes,
a lot of hot
it
chicks.
does.
Yeah.
There's a place for both of those things. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is somebody haunted? I heard like a boo. It's not even Halloween, and somebody's got a ghost. What the hell was that?
It was a motorcycle that went by me.
That's Tolkien rolling over.
What the hell? You got haunted. Why do your motorcycles sound like ghosts in Canada, Jed? What the hell is going on up there?
I'm not Canadian, Lee, but
Oh,
I don't know.
All right.
No, I don't know what the deal. That was a really weird sounding motorcycle.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah. It's probably one of those Vespers that go at 4 miles an hour. Yeah.
Has a little ringer honker horn. Ding ring.
Yeah. All right. We got Hard Light. Thank you very much for 2 British pounds. Shares. Yeah, you guys are going to have to make all new money now. I've been reading about that because I may or may not collect Canadian silver leaf coins, the bullion, 1 ounce of bullion, and all of them I've collected for years. Obviously, I've always had Queen Elizabeth's profile on it. Now, King Charles. How long? But that's just weird. I don't want to look at King Charles. I don't want to look at Princess Charles. I want to look at Queen Elizabeth.
Well,
for 2 British
maybe
pounds,
why she lived for so long.
Yeah, like I said, Prince Charles is 73 years old. He's assuming the throne at 73 years old. You know what he should be assuming? He should be assuming the remote control to watch Faulty Towers and take a nap on the sofa. Maybe not take over the UK.
Good
What were you
show.
saying, Jed?
Oh yeah, just reverse. Well, he is King Charles III, and both previous King Charles, their major achievements was disbanding Parliament. So, if I were Parliament, I'd be rather concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worried.
Yes, yeah. What is it? James, Charles, James, the English Civil War. Yes, we're more than pretty faces here on Salty Texas Sea Live. We remember those things.
Yes, it's
Pepperidge
also
Farm. Sorry, let me make my Pepperidge Farm joke, then you can go. Pepperidge Farm remembers. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Purple.
I was just going to say it's also getting towards the 5th of November as well. So, yeah.
Gotta
Fingers
watch my
crossed.
yearly V for Vendetta.
Great graphic novel. Great graphic novel. Pretty good
Absolutely.
movie. Pretty good movie. Yeah, there was some scuttlebutt. We're going to be talking about on Purple Valkyrie's Woo Woo show tomorrow. I've carved out some time. We'll just say for my client on a weekly basis where I take a later lunch so I can be on with Purple Valkyrie. We're going to be having a Woo Woo show, but there's something else that's been making the rounds, and I'm not going to get into it here, but it has to do with September 24th. And a warning that came out of German Parliament that may or may not be something you want to pay attention to. Anyway, we'll go back to pop culture. This is from Hardlight for 2 British pounds. Says audiobook versions go for graphic audio. I agree. There's nothing better than a really put together audiobook with great narration, good effects.
Yeah.
I'm working on a project right now for this channel with lessons learned from the Fire of Fandom series. We're just going to say that, and we'll see what everybody thinks. So
I'm trying to get my books made into audiobooks, and the whole process is a nightmare. I don't know how anyone makes good audiobooks because it's awful.
Yeah, bring that up. Bring that up in the green room. I got some stuff to show you, and it's not pornographic. All right, Steve, you missed your chance. We're going to wind down with this. This is the last article, and this is something that I brought up because there are many people on this show who appreciate Dr. Doom. And God, I hate this website. So SiriusXM announces, oh my God, kiss my ass. There we go. SiriusXM premieres new scripted Marvel podcast, Marvel's Wastelanders Doom. And this started yesterday on SiriusXM, the satellite radio, and it is about Dr. Doom. It is the 5th installment of the popular Marvel's Wastelanders epic audio, following the success of Marvel's Wastelanders Star-Lord, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and the Wolverine. The weekly 10-episode series is co-written by Mark Waid and James Kim, and the original sound design is done by somebody. but I might sneak a little bit of this. Purple Valkyrie, you don't like Dr. Doom very much, do you? Is this something that's going to interest you, or what do you think?
Oh, now you're talking my language. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, everybody knows he's my absolute favorite character, and it's actually piqued my interest. I'm not the massive fan of Mark Waid, but any Doom content that I can get my hands on, I'd like to check out. So yeah, I'm kind of curious about this to see what it's like.
All right, I haven't watched this. Let's see what we can watch before it gets struck.
Doom? Doom sent you?
I thought he was long gone.
Dr. Doom, haven't you been following the news? He's dead.
Wow. Okay, we can jump a little bit, make it transformative. Are these the voices you expected, Purple Valkyrie? And there's Steve. Dude, you're so late. I told you to come here like 10 minutes ago. What's going on here? All right, Steve, you kind of missed out, buddy. We're talking about something else. So
the
here
only
go.
family I've got.
What do you do that makes you need a hired gun?
Locate dangerous objects, keep them out of the hands of idiots.
The majority
Okay, wait a minute.
of your relics are that of your family, the Fantastic Four.
Okay, that's probably all I want to show, but that's what I wanted to get was, does that sound like Dr. Doom to you?
To me, no. I think I could probably do a more convincing Dr. Doom with a voice modulator. Everybody has this kind of conception of what the characters sound like in their own heads. Whatever comic book or character you read, you tend to have this kind of preset. But that wasn't quite what I was expecting, I've got to admit.
I think
anybody else like
Purple should narrate Jed's audiobooks.
Okay.
That would be something.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, can you do a bunch of different voices? They're perspective chapters.
Yeah.
I can. I can definitely give it the old college try.
Yeah. You may be working on some narration right now, but we're not going to talk about that because we're not ready to reveal that stuff. Let me shout out Steve, Prophet of the Dragon. Steve, we already covered the Sanderson stuff, but Purple Valkyrie wanted to know briefly, remember the operative word, briefly, where she should start with the Brandon Sanderson books. What was your video about today briefly, and then we'll finish up this Doom article, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my video was about the Kickstarter, which is already over 1 million. Minifigures, painted, everything that every creator should be doing right now that's big time making toys for everybody to gobble up. And in terms of Sanderson, where to start, that's a hard one. I would say probably Mistborn and then go into Stormlight. Stormlight is his baby, but Mistborn is a more complete series right now.
Cool. Good to know. So that validates a lot of what we've been saying. That's good to know.
Yes, thank you. I'm always looking for recommendations. So thank you, Steve, and thank you to
I love
the chat.
it. Oh yeah, Cosmere is great.
So I'm going to share something with you. Jacob Ironside says, Salty Texas C, I sent you a DM on Twitter, a screenshot of the art that Jacob is working on, and he wanted to share it in the chat. And Jacob, of course, look at what Jacob Ironside is making. In chat, we're going to bounce you out to get a better view of this. That's beautiful, dude. Okay, Jacob, that is really cool. And yes, I'm hiding behind my flag. That is really, really cool. This is what we want to see. This is fandom. This is what fandom has always been. And Jacob, I really love this. Thank you. I'd love to see it. What else you make? I'd be honored to be used some of these images maybe in some of the videos we make and give you credit. But if you guys make stuff like this, please send it to us. We'd love to show stuff off. That's like the build channel and the creating channel that shows that Purple and I occasionally do, where we're making ships or she's painting action figures or whatever it is. We'd love to see your art. We really would. And Jacob, this is really effing cool.
It's very cool.
Thank you.
It is. It's beautiful. And as Salty said, it's so good to see how many talented people we have, because I had no idea that there was such a wide range of things that people make.
It's great. It really is. And this is what life is being about. We talked about it earlier in the episode. This, no one comes out of the womb born as an artist. Nobody comes out of the womb born as a classical musician, maybe Mozart. But we all have to try things. And you know what? Same thing with YouTube. Probably the first 40 videos I made sucked. I'm embarrassed about them. And then I got better. You know, I didn't just keep doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over and over. I had to take a hard look at myself and try and get better at things. Did I? I don't know. I think I did. I'm proud of what I do now. I'm a lot more proud, but I still have something to learn. This is art. It has heart. It has soul. It has Tolkien. It has everything the Rings of Power, in my opinion, does not. Thank you for that, Jacob. You are awesome. And I hope you're feeling well today, sir. Yeah, Purple Valkyrie. I don't know what to say about that Dr. Doom thing. I thought I would bring it up because I wanted to know if it sounded like Dr. Doom to you or not. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird to me. No, when I think of Doom, I think of him having a very deep, very commanding voice. If you think back to the Fantastic Four cartoon, the actor that they had playing him then, even though he had a British accent, he was very Shakespearean almost. He had that kind of delivery, and I thought that worked really well. That didn't quite do it for me, but I do like the idea of it being a radio play. And yeah, Jacob Ironside nailed it. This is how we will. Absolutely.
It's true. You know what else would be cool is somebody trying to do the old sea shanty like songs of Tolkien. If there are musicians out there, you can find the old recordings of Tolkien and some of the readings, just all the songs that he has from the dwarves and the books. And no, you can't monetize them, but I would love to see somebody just go out there and make that kind of stuff. I don't have the talent for that. Yeah, I can play guitar a little bit, you know, I can, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be going, you know, not going to happen. So, but there are people who are talented, you know, maybe it's piano or flute or oboe or, you know, who knows what the hell it is. Get your creative freak on. You know, share it with other people. You'd be surprised how many people like the fact that you're creative. Go ahead, Jet.
Oh, sorry. Well, for all the flaws of the Hobbit movies, I really like what they did with the songs in that one, especially the first one, like Far Over the Misty Mountains and the Blunt the Knives songs. They did some really good stuff, and it felt very sea shanty like what you're talking about. Those are some of my favorite parts of those movies.
Funny you should say that, because guess what I have right here. Here you go. Chat. This one is for Jed. This one is for you.
To dungeons deep and caverns old.
Just one of the many services we provide on demand. Yeah. That's how good we are here. So
I love that song. I used it for a musical theater audition. I love that song.
Wow. That's amazing.
Didn't work because I'm a terrible singer, but I tried.
So I was going to say, now we need a YouTube group of guys to sing that.
I'd sing it.
Amazing.
Probably not well, but I'd sing it. Yeah.
Steve, if you can hit the bass, that's what matters in that song.
It's true. It's true. Steve, what do you got going on? Thanks for joining. I know you got hung up at work today. It's really great to see you. What are you working on? What's the next thing you're going to be doing? Where can people find you as we get out of here?
Well, you know, just Prophet of the Dragon, mostly doing live stuff with you lately. I know, I think we got a thing Thursday with Purple too. I'm sure I'm not going to steal her thunder, but more videos coming. And, you know, maybe some gaming stuff. I saw Nintendo Direct. GoldenEye is going to be on GameCube, you know, Direct. So, so GoldenEye on the Switch. So I'm going to have to blow some people up. But yeah, we'll see. More fun chaos. That's what is in store from me.
Look at Psycho Dwarf 9. He says that he's a baritone with 4 years of choral training.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Look at that. We've got a choir already.
Either that or a barbershop quartet. Either one. We'll take either one, because I think you could do the dwarf songs from The Hobbit with the barbershop quartet. Does anybody even know what a barbershop quartet?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I'd love like a YouTube miniseries of Middle Earth barbershop where they have a barbershop quartet in there, and then all that's where Arondir got his nice tight fade, and it's like maybe a little animated so you get it all.
Yeah.
Just a lot of
Well, moving on up to the
And Eddie Murphy is the barber.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be
Yeah. And what's
great.
that? Wait, who does those? Tyler Perry. You need to have Tyler Perry in Middle Earth. That's what we need. You know? You guys.
Have him play
wait a
all
minute,
the
what did
different
I-
roles like Medea.
Yeah. Especially Disa. Yeah. You know, let's stop giving them ideas because that's what they're going to do season 2. Let's go on to Nathan, Amanda Manethrin. What do you got going on? Where can people find you, sir?
You can just find me on my YouTube channel, Man of Manethrin. And we're just doing the live watch on Thursday evening, Friday morning, going through that pain. Catch me on OBG's channel tomorrow for some Dungeons and Dragons action.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
And and then I'll just do some random videos producing some just random stuff that pops into my head, usually criticizing the Rings of Power.
Yeah, go check out Nathan Amanda Manethrin's channel. He's making the climb to monetization slowly but surely. Really good content creator, makes quality, heartfelt videos. Thank you for being here, Nathan. It's always an honor to have you here every other week.
Oh, love you, brother.
Moving on to Jed. Did I do you, Jed? I didn't do you. Jed, Hollywood Scholar. An hour before the show, I'm like, dude, you want to come hang out? He's like, yeah, sure. So thanks for coming on, Jed. You're a blast. You're fun. It's been awesome. Where can people find you? What are you doing, sir?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at Hollywood Scholar. I put out a video every day at 12 p.m. Pacific time, so check those out if you're interested. I will also be on OBG70's channel tomorrow night for some Dungeons and Dragons. And right after this, I know it's got a lot of flaws, but it's one of my favorite shows. Supernatural is having its 17th anniversary tonight, so I'm going to go right after this and go watch the pilot episode again, get some nostalgia going. But
wow,
I love that show.
Sorry. I've got puppets sending me links when I'm live. That's
never
the thing that
watched
happens on YouTube. Yeah. No, I haven't either. Is it worth watching? I understand it kind of goes off the rails a little bit. Okay.
So
what do you like about it? What do you like?
Yeah, so I'm very much a character-driven person. That's the number one thing I look for. And the characters of Sam and Dean, the two main characters, their relationship, their brotherly relationship with each other just carries it through all like the subpar episodes when those occasionally come up. But the character work done with them, the 15-year arc, because it's 15 seasons long. So make sure you can cut out a little bit of time for that. But there is a space around season 6 to 8 where things kind of go off the rails a little bit. That's because it was kind of originally a 5-year plan. Then it just like the studio's like, hey, this is great, keep going. And they didn't have a plan. And then after season 8, they got a new plan, and that kind of carried them through the rest of the 15 seasons. But yeah, it's all about integrating all the world's mythology into real life. So like you're going to get some pieces of Egyptian mythology, Christian mythology, lots of Christian mythology. Okay. You're going to fight vampires, werewolves, lots of ghosts, demons, a lot of great combat in it as well. A lot of great stuff in it. Plot occasionally has some issues. Sometimes there are repetitive episodes, but I just love the relationship.
15 years. 15 years, dude. You're gonna get some woke or not woke. Yeah,
not woke. There's the occasional joke in some of the later seasons. Like there's a joke about they rescue some people from an alternate reality that's an apocalyptic world, and they make a joke is like, you call us the apocalyptic world, but you've got Donald Trump as president.
That's
did you need to do that? Made. Yeah, so it's a few like 2-second jokes, but nothing plot oriented, nothing that you can't just move past.
Yet another ghost. And yes, Paul Wolfley, I am shamelessly massaging the audience. I'm going to give you another sea shanty in something in the vein of the sea shanty sang by Tolkien himself before we go to Purple Valkyrie, and then we close the night out.
Cut the cloth and tread on the fat, pour the milk on the pantry floor, leave the bones on the bedroom mat, splash the wine on every door.
So good.
Love that.
No CG. There's no CG.
And no auto
talent. It's just talent. That's why I was watching Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. I talked about it being in the show 5 years before I was born, 1965. Just dudes on a stage with just a microphone and an amplifier. Amazing. the talented, lovely, amazing, very patient, very helpful Purple Valkyrie. You've been running chat for me all night. Thank you very much. What do you got going on? Where can people find you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you to this amazing panel, and thank you to the chat. You guys were awesome tonight. Lots going on for the next few days. We've got the Woo Woo Wednesday coming up tomorrow. We've got a very special Thursday show where we're going to be reviewing season 5 of Cobra Kai, and got a couple of gentlemen who will be joining me, and as well, Heel versus Babyface is going to be there. Might have something on Friday, hopefully, and also maybe on Saturday as well, because we had such a great time playing Gartic Phone last week. That was an absolute blast.
My cheeks hurt from laughing.
It's a great game.
Yeah, and just to be clear, again, Purple Valkyrie will be live with Heel versus Babyface as on Thursday with our very own Nathan Amanda Manethrin and Steve Prophet of the Dragon, talking about
season 5 of Cobra Kai. Absolutely. Cobra Kai never dies.
Yeah.
It sort of does, but not really.
Yeah. I'd like to have Az back. Maybe I can send him Krispy Kreme or something like that, because he's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I love Az.
He is. Az is awesome.
Yes, he is.
He's great when he's unfiltered. I love unfiltered Az behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's an experience.
Yeah, just like Ryan unfiltered. It's an experience.
Yeah, I saw that in Dallas. You guys, I've had a great show. You've honored me with your presence. Thanks for stepping in for people who couldn't make it due to illness or needing to do things like grad school. But it's great to have you guys here. And we miss Max. I hope you're having a good, and it's just the teasing is meant from the kindness of our hearts. And Kyle, Zaxx, I hope you feel better. What have I got going on? Tomorrow afternoon, it's 2:00. We're going to be doing the Wednesday Woo Woo show on Purple Valkyrie's channel. And this week it's going to be about aliens, unidentified flying objects. Last week, we showed the footage from the haunted hotel that we went to on location. This week, we do not have any footage that we've shot of aliens, but you know what? It's only 9:00. Maybe I can find some before tomorrow. I'm also going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons with these two fine gentlemen, I'm getting stream brain. Hollywood Scholar and Nathan Amanda Manethrin. We're going to play in D&D, our last episode of the season, playing Keep on the Borderlands. Thursday, I will be producing, doing the back end stuff for Kyle's Zaxx show if he's feeling all right. That, of course, would be on Kyle's channel. I don't think I'm doing anything Friday. Saturday, I'll be playing Gartic Phone. Oh, no. Thursday, I will also be doing the live watch. God damn it. The live watch at 11:00 of Amazon's The Rings of Power episode 4. Great numbers. We've had some amazing turnouts for that. People have really loved it. That will be with Steve, Nathan, Nerdporial, Zaxx, if he can show up. Maybe, I don't know, a whole bunch of people. And then, of course, Sunday, we do the House of the Dragon live. That's been getting amazing numbers, guys. Fantastic turnouts for that show. Great comments. And then, of course, the Nerdporial after show after that. I want to say thank you to everyone who has been in chat tonight. You guys are absolutely fantastic. I'm sorry. We're trying to wind down, so I'm missing some of your comments. Thank you so much for being with us this whole time. Smile for a while. Thank you so much to Zaxx for being here. Snacks and Comics, I got a link for me, but I'm in the middle of a show, so I'll figure it out once we get off. And yes, Zaxx, vitamin C and scotch. I think that's what the doctor told me to do. Vitamin C and scotch or something like that. Hope you feel better.
Yes, and rest. Get some rest.
Well, there is that too. Hello, Corey and Drake. It's great to see everybody here. And yeah, you guys, we will hopefully see you all soon. Please go ahead and come over to Purple Valkyrie's Woo Woo show tomorrow. It's always good because you can't have the woo without the other woo. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Jaden. Good night, Jaden. Remember, don't be the nice guy. Be the good guy. Everybody loves the good guy. You know, Jack Burton, not doormat. Jack Burton, not the doormat. You all take care. I'm going to get us out of here. I need to get some more water. I hydrate a lot. It's crazy. It's like a camel tonight. You all have a great rest of the week. I need to close a whole bunch of things. And yeah, this was a hell of a good show. See everybody soon. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.